So as Camille mentioned, I'm the new Senior Vice President for Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship. I was brought in to lead this new division to help facilitate partnerships and system-wide collaborations, as well as to bring greater brand awareness to innovations and startups coming out of the UC system. So being big has many advantages. At UC Office of the President, we talk about the power of 10. And it's amazing to see the vast scope and scale of the 10 UC campuses, 5 medical centers, and 3 national laboratories. My peers and friends at other institutions who have similar roles to me just shake their head when I tell them about all the breadth and depth of resources, centers, and institutes that we have here. Like Citrus, where we are right now. My job is to understand all of that, view it through the lens of the entrepreneurial opportunity, and then find ways to open the world's eyes to the vast potential. Being big can be challenging. Potential partners can sometimes feel like they're searching for needles in a haystack. Let me give you some examples. I recently keynoted at a conference focused on smart mobility and wanted to give some specific examples of UC innovations and startups in the space. With just a little bit of digging, we found the engineer responsible for Google's first self-driving car is a UC grad and serial entrepreneur. A longtime UC professor and entrepreneur has developed a flying vehicle. Now that's pretty cool, right? And Ford just acquired another company founded by another UC grad that has created software algorithms and cognitive perception systems to enable autonomous navigation. In fact, I had so many examples of licensed technology and startup companies in this space that I could have talked for about 2 hours about those examples. I always see challenges as opportunities. My division is the first unified group tasked with curating these examples and shining the spotlight on them. That's my job, to analyze the data, summarize the history, and then tell their story to outside stakeholders that may want to collaborate and partner with us. That's the essence of building a brand and the path to building partnerships. It's what I do best. So I'm going to talk to you about brand awareness and partnerships. You are your own brand. What do I mean by that? Start thinking of yourself as a brand. Build your brand like you're building a company. Build your online presence, but be conscientious of what you put out there. You need to leverage your strengths, produce value, add value to your audience by creating and curating content. Define your areas of expertise. Be really purposeful. Understand what your brand is, what you're putting out there. I know it's really difficult to define your brand, but it's essential. You need to have an elevator pitch. How many of you here know what an elevator pitch is? All right, woohoo! Go team. So for those of you who might not, in 30 seconds, it's the time it takes to ride in an elevator that you're able then to tell people who you are. Somebody has a phone call. So once you get to know your brand, you need to get out there and tell the world. Men do this really well, and it's often referred to as the locker room syndrome. So for instance, one of my friends said, you know, I was in the locker room and I was talking about how my friend's company was raising a Series C and they were looking for board members. And my buddy there was saying, oh my gosh, I want to serve on some boards and I have an opening right now. And he's like, oh, I'll make that introduction for you. For women, it's a bit of a challenge. We don't really network that way. So we need to look at how we build our social network, and we need to do so with purpose. First, your network should include mentors and champions. Champions will see the potential in you before you do. They will go out on a limb for you and advocate for you. Second, do not limit your network. You should be open to meeting anyone and everyone. I don't know how many people I could tell you. I actually started a couple companies based on people that I met while sitting next to them on an airplane. Second, and remember the elevator pitch? Use it, and often. Third, do not let people define who you are. My journey to get here wasn't always easy. When I was younger, people were confused by me because I was interested in so many things. And that was really unusual back then. So 10, 20, 30 years ago, the most common job titles today didn't exist. People picked a track. They picked an industry. They picked a geographic location. And then for the most part, you stayed put and you sought to move up the corporate ladder. That's all out the window now. People change jobs and change locations and industries frequently. A survey conducted by the Bureau of Labor Statistics has tracked younger baby boomers over a considerable segment of their lives. Last year, it concluded that people from 1957 to 1964, probably the age of some of your parents, held an average of 12 jobs just between the ages of 18 and 48. 12 jobs in 30 years. Your parents. The gig economy didn't even exist for them. Many years ago, a recruiter was speaking with me on how I needed to choose one industry to focus on and own that industry. That my interest in many industries would make me unmarketable. This experience was not unique to me. I was constantly being faced with being put in a box, which I absolutely despised. People define me as a female. You're an engineer. You're an entrepreneur. You're a venture capitalist. You're a CEO. But the reality is, I'm all of those things. And if data is now indicating that your parents were also all of the above, and were changing jobs and careers, just imagine how different it is for us now. Each gig for you is just a tiny part of who you are. As Aristotle said, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Now, this is what I think about the whole box thing. If I can get it to work.
It's time to wake up the neighbors.
No more bridge bits.
You have incredible potential. You know it, and I know it. But if we are hidden in the vast haystack of noise and clutter and insufficient time and social media chaos, we run the risk of being missed. You need to define who you are. You are empowered, so get out there and tell the world who you are. So I'm also going to make a shameless plug here. So I'm getting ready to launch an I Am a UC Entrepreneur campaign. And so if you are a UC graduate, student, alumni in the audience, and you've started your own company, please see me afterwards, and I'd love to hear your story. Thank you.